Welcome to Dasso, Florida, where you get your daily dose of ratchetness coming out of the wonderful gunshine state of Florida. First off, I'd just like to thank everybody who's listening and watching for your support. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment for more videos. First off, we're going to definitely get right into it. We have a story here coming out of the Plantation, Florida, Broward County area of a young man named Sean Ricketts. At the age of 39, he decided to go ahead and kidnap or attempt to kidnap a 5-year-old child from his father's hands. According to Plantation police report, the gentleman, Sean, drove up to the father in his red Ford Ranger, told the man that he is not the father of this child because he is white and the child looks black. The gentleman, Sean Ricketts, then decided to attempt to pull the child into the car, and the father rightfully punched him dead in the face. Sean then drove off and fled the area, and later on was caught and charged with attempted kidnapping, and the bond was set at $50,000 in the Broward County jail. Now, I don't know about anybody there, anybody else, but down here, you can't just pull up on anybody, because it is a reason why we call it the gunshine state. At any moment, you could get the issue. You don't know what the gentleman has. You don't know who he is or what he's capable of. But I can assume that this guy here, Mr. Ricketts, was probably on something, and I don't know what that was. That was just some craziness right there. But the father definitely had everything within his rights to protect him and his child. Luckily, Sean was just lucky that the father wasn't strapped and didn't take it a bit further. But this is South Florida, so I would advise anybody never pull up on nobody coming out of the gunshine state of Florida, because you never know what they may have on them or what kind of state of mind they in with what they have on them. So that gentleman there, he definitely was lucky. Now for our second story coming out of the wonderful gunshine state of Florida, we have two young gentlemen here that decided to do a lick, the old school style, but they did theirs way completely different from what I grew up to know. All right, now, according to the police report, the two young men, one named Larry White and another one named Tyrese Blue, basically targeted a victim who withdrew about $640 from the bank at TD Bank. And once they targeted the victim, they followed him all the way to a coin laundry, which was basically about a mile away. Now, when the victim got out the car, the two young men, according to the affidavit, pointed a gun at the victim while he was sitting in the car and demanded the money. According to the report, the victim hesitated, and then Blue racked the firearm in his face and told him he would basically get on the ground. After shooting a round into the ground, the victim then gave away the blue fanny pack that he had with the money in it. Now, during the actual robbery, you know, there were cameras and everything around, so they basically got the car, they got the plate, they got the pictures, they got everything they need to identify these two guys. Now, the reason I'm reporting this story on this channel is because these two young men, after they robbed this guy, they decided to come back the following day to the same bank with the same car, with the same plates, same everything. After they arrived at the bank, a couple of employees recognized them, recognized the car, and basically called police. Now, when the police arrived at the bank, it was reported that one of the suspects, now identified as White, after White pulled up to the bank, a detective pulled up also. Now, once the detective pulled up, the detective recognized the car, recognized everything, and basically arrested him on the spot after they tried to drive out the parking lot, which was a bit too late. Now, according to the report, both White and Blue basically just gave full confessions. They just said, forget it. I'm just going to tell you everything that we did for the $640. And that we decided to come back to the bank and try it again, to the same bank. You know, me. I don't know. I guess common sense isn't too common, but it is what it is. We all learn from our mistakes. And my brothers, young men, that was a very big mistake. Now you got not federal, but felony charges, armed robbery felony charges. All these come with no bond. And these are violent offenses for $640. Man, I don't know what to tell you. I just hope you gentlemen keep your head up while you're at Metro West. I know what it's like in there. It's not nice at all. It just smell like pine sol and bleach. Now, mind you, the lick that these young gentlemen just hit is nothing new. Especially coming from down here. That's something they used to do on a regular basis when I was growing up. You would either have a girl or a female or somebody inside the bank telling you when somebody's coming to do a large withdrawal, so you follow them home and rob them, or you sit in the parking lot until you see somebody who has a pretty sizable bag, go inside with an empty bag, and come outside with that bag full. You can easily tell just by the impressions and the size of the bag, things of that nature. Is it even worth going down that route? Because if it's a pretty big size bag, and you see the indentations and the impressions on it, it's like, okay, what's all that in that bag? It's a lot of money. That's usually how it used to go. Or, like I said, somebody in the bank would tell you, hey, somebody put in a big order for such and such amount at this date, at this time, just follow them home, blah, blah, blah. That's how the old lick was done. These gentlemen here, they happen to strike out, only getting $640, facing a felony weapons charge with no bond. Those charges carry 30 years, man. So I know it's not nice. And they're both young. They're both very young. So they still got a lot of time ahead of them. Hopefully they could come out and do something positive or turn this around, because these charges are some ugly charges. All right, and for the third and final story coming out of the wonderful Gunshine State, for Dasso, Florida, we have 30-year-old Eric Popper. Now, mind you, the reason why I call it a Gunshine State is because out of 5 people, 3 of them have a gun on them. And 1 of them probably has a concealed permit. But 3 of them will at least have a gun on them. Now, according to this story, 30-year-old Eric Popper was driving his black Toyota Venza went down I-95 at 135th Street. He apparently got into some road rage incident with another driver where he cut them off. And it's all on video, mind you guys, this is all on video. So now after cutting the gentleman off, he basically started brake checking him. And after he brake checked him, I would assume the person behind him got upset, started honking at him, cursing at him, things of that nature. Now, in the video that you can see clear as day, Eric Popper reaches into his middle console, unscrews it, you can see it's a safe, and pulls a weapon out. Now, he does that before even seeing who's in the car, what kind of car it is, or anything. So I'm not sure how you could be scared. You don't even know what's going on yet. But one thing about down here, or one thing about having a gun, even the scariest people are quick to pull the trigger. A lot of people know that, some don't, but it'd be the scary ones that pull the trigger the fastest. Because, again, I don't know how he was scared when you couldn't even see who was in the other car or what they were doing in the other car. But apparently, the other car threw a water bottle at his car, and he started firing blindly. Like, his eyes are closed. Dude's eyes are closed or squinch. He's not even looking at what he's aiming at. And he hit the car a couple times. Luckily, he didn't hit no innocent bystanders or innocent babies or anybody else in any of the cars, because he clearly had his eyes closed. So from this story, it clearly tells you this guy was very scared. Like, he's a scary, scary gentleman. He has a gun just because he's scary. And these are the people that I tell you that when they are scared, they pull that gun quick, because they can't fight, can't throw no hands, and the minute they feel some kind of threat, they're going to go straight to the gun, because they can't do nothing else. Yeah, unfortunately for Eric Popper, he was charged with aggravated assault and firing a deadly missile, which are both felony charges. Now, according to his arrested affidavit, he got bond, and he's basically out. Now, in Miami, again, he don't know if the person in the other car would have had a gun on them. Because if they would have had a gun on them, they would have been completely legally justified to shoot back and kill him after he started shooting first. According to him, he was scared out of his mind. He thought he was getting shot at and he was going to die. So he pulled his gun and started shooting. As you can see in the video, he didn't even give the car a chance to even pull up next to him for him to be scared to start shooting. So I don't know what he saw or what he claimed he saw to be scared to start shooting from your vehicle. This, as I tell y'all, when you come to the gunshine state of Florida, be careful who you pull up next to. Be careful who you have road rage with. I've had incidences with road rage, and let's just say I'm a concealed holder, so all that stuff is on call for. Just keep it moving. It's not that serious. It's a little cut off. It's a little this, a little that. Okay, honk your horn, get mad, and then drive off. Go about your day. It ain't that serious, man. You go pull your gun and start blasting, and if you would have hit a kid in that car, you'd have went to sleep crying, boo-hoo, oh, man, I can't believe I shot this child, all that for no reason. You got to think, man. You got to think before you pull that trigger. That's a big responsibility when you start pulling that trigger. But, hey, who am I? Just preaching to the choir. But thank you guys, everybody, for listening to That's So Florida. If you